Going back to Saturday, you bogey number 2, you're in trouble on the drive on number 4. How did the next 30 minutes shape the outcome of this championship?
You know, starting off with 2 bogeys in 4 holes, good bogeys. It could have been easily double bogey on 4, but then getting back with an eagle on 5, you know, that brought me back to level par after 5 holes. And those 5 holes, they didn't play easy at all. It was very, very difficult to play the whole or the entire golf course. So to be level par after 5 holes was fine, especially the way I play golf.
In theory, everybody wants to have the lead because it indicates how you're playing. But what's the challenge of holding the lead every day and night of a major?
Well, the challenge is that you don't get ahead of yourself and that you keep going. And that is very easy said, you know, to keep going. But the thing is that it has to come from inside. It has to be true that you want to keep going and not only say it. And that was a tough part. And you can only create that, or at least in my way, I could only create that on the golf course after 4 or 5 holes today. Because then I wouldn't call it goal, but the hope was, you know, to get back to that 10 under where I was. And that kept me going, you know, and I didn't really pay too much attention on the other guys.
Why was that important to you, to get to 10 under?
Well, you know, once you are there, you know, to be that deep in a golf tournament, to be 10 under at the US Open is so rare. You know, just you ask yourself, how low can you get at the US Open? And is 10 under, is that the limit? And it was the limit for me, but fortunately it was enough.
2011, you're the #1 player in the world. You rework your swing, you fall out of the top 50. I know you've said you didn't really have great doubts, but Martin, what was the low point in that period of time, honestly?
Low point, I played a tournament in Portugal, I think it was 2 years ago, and I worked so much. You know, I hit so many golf balls and I was playing good golf. It was not that consistent, but the practice rounds, they worked out well, and I thought, okay, I think I have a chance to win again. And that was only 4 or 5 months after I started changing. And I headed to the weekend, and I was okay. I was only 4 or 5 shots behind, and I screwed up completely. I had no control over the flight anymore, and I didn't know why they're going left, why they're going right. And then you ask yourself, I mean, what are they practice for? And then, you know, it was a quite, but it stayed only for a day or so. Then I went back. There was Sunday afternoon, that moment that I just talked about, and I went back to Germany and I talked to my coach, and he has that talent to explain things very, very simple. And
what did he tell you?
Well, you know, it's the mechanics and the let's say how the body works. You know, there's never a doubt when he explains you something. It's a fact. It's the physics. So for you never doubt anything he says because it's true.
But what about the heart and the spirit when you don't get the result?
You know, the patience is a very, very big thing, and a lot of people say, you know, it will happen. You just have to play, keep playing along. But you as an athlete, at one stage, the patience is done. You just want the result. And I hit that day there in Portugal where I thought, it's very, very tough. But then you go back, you know, you meet with your friends, you meet with your family, you reschedule a little bit. You come down and realize, okay, what do I want to do? I sat down with my coach. We had a very nice session. We talked about the goals, and then there was a clear line again. But that day in Portugal, it was very difficult for me.
What did making the putt at the Ryder Cup do for you?
You know, playing-wise, you know, the whole day, not that much, because I didn't play great golf all week. But mentally, which is, I think, probably 85–90% these days out here on the PGA Tour, it meant a huge thing, you know, because I had to deliver. There was no option. There was no option to fail. So, and that was quite nice. I could get that done, and I made that putt.
Last month you won the Players on Mother's Day. I know it's not Father's Day in Germany, but it is here in the U.S. where you win the U.S. Open. To win on Mother's Day and Father's Day, Martin, what's the meaning in that for you?
Well, I mean, to win on Mother's Day is quite nice. You know, I think the mothers for a boy is always very, very, very important. You know, it's a different relationship than I have with my father. You know, I think the mother's always, you know, very caring. She's always there, very warm. She doesn't want that her boy gets hurt in any way. So it's a different relationship than you have to your father, I believe, or at least in my case. So to win on Mother's Day was really nice for me, and to win here today. You know, my brother and me, we know that we don't have to make our father proud anymore. I think we've done that, or we know that he's proud of us. But to bring home such a big achievement on Father's Day, I think he will be happy too.
You were the #1 player in the world. A month ago you win the Players. This day you win the US Open. Who's the best player in the world right now?
Or Adam Scott, he's #1 in the world. You know, he's definitely the most consistent player. Okay, he couldn't win the US Open, he couldn't win the Players this year, but you know, all the credit still goes to him. The way he played golf the last couple of years was amazing, so he deserves to be #1 in the world.
Finally, Martin, you were a promising young soccer player, as you told us a few years ago. You made a decision to choose golf. How'd it work out for you?
You know, it's maybe a funny question, but on the other hand, you know, it can be quite interesting, because I would have loved, really, I would have loved to be at the World Cup. You know, I thought I don't want to say that I had a very good chance to get there, but I would have loved to see if I could have gotten there.